Well, welcome to create a get out of your head moment on purpose. Do you find that no matter what age you are, life takes on its own shape? A shape of how we let it all become, what we allow to happen. Now, let's think. In our teenage years, we are trying to fit in, searching for the right crowd, finding how we are, who we are, what our personality is. We're trying to find our purpose. In our 20s, we're trying to plan out our whole life. We are finding our purpose. When we hit our 30s, at that point, aren't we trying to plan what's next? Should we purchase a house, change jobs, start a family? We're finding our purpose. In our 40s, we must have we must have arrived by now, right? But reevaluation sets in. Is this what I should be doing for the rest of my life? We're finding our purpose. When we hit our 50s, we're getting the hang of things, but we're so habit driven by this time that the same thing of that hamster wheel life is living is in place. We get up, we go to work, we do whatever that's calling our attention, but we really have some sort of missing piece and we're looking to find our purpose. In our 60s, planning and living retirement, but where all the choices we made in the past, are they good for where we are right now? We're still looking for our purpose. It's interesting that this keeps on coming up through our whole life. Now, I've only hit about the 50s, but I know people in the 70s and their 80s and their 90s and their 60s that are telling me these things, that in their 70s and 80s and 90s, life choices have determined their purpose at that point. It determines how they're living financially, physically, mentally, spiritually. So today, we're going to discuss how to pause and create those get out of your head moments on purpose from now and beyond. How to create a new course of action. So my sister was just visiting with us towards the beginning of the summer for a week, and I just love her style. She's a hard worker who actually works multiple jobs. She's a school counselor for middle schoolers. She's a waitress for a high-end events company. She has her bachelor's degree in hotel and restaurant management and now studying. She actually is now a powerful purpose coach for me, working with women on their roadmap to sanity. I'm so excited about that. But everything she does is with a purpose. She has a purpose for her vacations, a purpose for what she saves for, a purpose for her life. She's authentic. It is really neat to watch her navigate around those things. As the title of the webinar states, we're going to discuss a get out of your head moment on purpose. During our time together, I'll be reviewing 3 steps that have helped me and others to create those moments and how others have benefited from them too. So I am so excited to get started. So most of you may know and may not who I am. I'm Pam Drzwicki. I'm the founder of Powerful Purpose Community, a life coach, a motivational speaker, and an author for personal development. My passion for helping women live amazing lives has been fueled by my work for nearly 5 years as a personal and business coach. My clients and followers find my experience as a recovered corporate employee, a lifelong learner, a mentor, a late blooming mom, second marriage soulmate finder, an author, a speaker, faith-driven, fun-loving, and business owner, has afforded them a wide variety of knowledge and skills to help rock their goals. This subject today is really dear to my heart because I did have to learn how to give myself permission to have a moment without guilt of doing so. I still have to remind myself. For my own personal development work, I've created this process that has helped others as well as I know will ultimately help you too. So let's get started on creating your get out of head moment. So step one, imagine a little of the pressure releasing, bringing awareness mentally and physically into the forefront of your actions. How many times do you do something because it's what you have always done? Or you say yes to something because it's what you feel you should do? When I was a kid, we were taught that if you were invited to a party, you went to the party no matter how many other things were happening on that same day. We were pressured only because no wasn't an option to be here and there and not really enjoying any of the moments because we're not present. Do we find that sometimes maybe if we go on vacation, we're still checking emails or we're responding to a quick text? When we do this, we're thinking about what the next thing is coming up. So there was a time that we went to 4 parties in one day. Yes, 4 parties. My mom, I love her to bits, but she never learned or taught boundaries. For the longest time, I followed in her footsteps when it came to this, until I started realizing that saying no is a way to release the pressure. As I mentioned, my baby sister lives with purpose. She definitely did not pick up the trait of overcommitment. She has no problem saying no when it doesn't feel right to her. Yeah, but she's very kind-hearted, and it is fascinating to watch her live life with purpose. In order for me to create a get out of head of my moment, it took a lot of practice, So I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and think of a time that you felt stressed because there was so much coming at you at once. Now think about that. How did you handle that? In this step one, imagine releasing this pressure. Bring awareness to your mental and physical state when you are feeling like that. Ask yourself, could I have handled this a different way? Creating a new habit in the process of repetition, right? Like doing it over and over again. Give yourself the breathing room to grow in this new habit. Jot down in a journal, record yourself telling you how you're feeling. Because a lot of times we embrace a certain feeling and we love that feeling where we are, but then when it happens again, we get caught up in the hamster wheel or the noise around us. But if we record it either by video or journaling, it's a great tool to bring us back. So let's take a step back and let's do the takeaways from step one. Awareness brings clarity. It breeds clarity for us. Just because you find yourself under pressure doesn't mean it can't change. Not everyone handles it the same way. Those are the takeaways from step one. Envision yourself of where you are, journal or record the feeling, Awareness breeds clarity. Just because you find yourself under pressure doesn't mean it can't change. And not everyone handles things the same exact way. I want you to think about the quote or the nugget on the screen. A year from now, you will wish you had started today. Just think about that. So now let's go into step 2. Step 2 is identify the feeling you want and how to keep it. So we were visualizing someness in the awareness of things in step 1. Now step 2 is like, let's truly dig in and identify that feeling. Now that we touched on identifying and how to release the pressure, what it feels like when you're overwhelmed and releasing pressure, how do you want to feel around that? So you know how you felt there. Now you have control over how you want to feel. All of these thoughts are governed by us. I've said before, our brain is a very complex organ, but in simple terms, it has 2 jobs: to listen to what you tell it and then to take action on it. When we fill it with an overload of daily decisions without giving space to pause, it gets super tired and reacts in different ways than how we might want it to happen. For me, I find that picking power words to anchor the way I want to feel on a weekly basis helps ground me. They are the triggers to bring me back to ground zero. As I mentioned, remember, the brain has those 2 functions. Telling ourselves the feeling we want will help create the feeling we will get. So for me, I love soaking in the tub to release pressure, right? To celebrate, to unwind. This wasn't always a practice of mine, even though I've had the amazing tub for 10 years. 10 years I've had this tub. This was part of creating a new habit of releasing pressure and how I want to feel. Prayer and meditation is another way to stop and help me identify the feeling I am looking for. When you start identifying your feelings, other things might creep in. You're not enough. You're being lazy. Maybe even, who are you to say no to people? When this happens, and believe me, it will, because we have a lot of head trash that happens. I've experienced it, and so has my clients. We go back to the awareness. So when the negative thoughts and talks come in, go back to the awareness. Go back to step 1. Awareness breeds clarity. So give yourself permission. Other ways to identify your feelings and how to keep them there are a practice called tapping. Tapping, look that up. I don't teach tapping, but I've heard amazing things about it. Tapping is a way you focus on the negative energy to be released. And there are special tapping points that you focus on to shift that feeling. It's very interesting and effective. Another way I find is having a hero song. Mine is the Rachel Platten song. It's the fight song. That gets me energized. Or having a power word. Like I said, deep breathing. Deep breathing. It's amazing when we take a few deep breaths, how our shoulders release. And it brings us back to center. And that's an easy thing we could do anywhere. So takeaways from step 2. Be kind to yourself. Find a trigger to keep you or bring you back on track. And again, awareness. Awareness. That's my word this year, keeps on coming up. The quote on this slide is, start your day off with a feeling of power. So waking up and allowing yourself to be kind and tell yourself how you want to feel that day so you could stay grounded. Let's get into step 3. Write your permission slip. Okay, confession time for me. I was creating this webinar and I was having a hard time with getting out of my head on purpose. I know this material, I live this, coach this, present on this, but giving my permission to create goodness was hard. I know it's like a plumber with a leaky faucet, right? What I needed to do was to take a step back and do step 1 and step 2. And then I did step 3. I wrote my permission slip. I gave myself permission to feel confident and empowered by the information I will share and allow the flow of enjoyment for the process to shine through during this webinar. Giving myself permission to feel confident about the information that I'm delivering really does help people change their lives. Picking moments that take over your thoughts and bring you someplace else than how you want to feel is when you need to write yourself that permission slip. So writing a permission slip is an actual task that we do. We actually sit down and write the permission slip. I give myself permission to, and whatever that is, filling that slot in, that space in. A client of mine wrote a permission slip and it said it's okay to say no to her kids when they want every moment of her time. She gave herself permission to say no to her kids. It went like this. So the way she wrote her permission slip was, I gave myself permission to say no to my children when I know I will feel overwhelmed by saying yes. It's okay to be kind to myself and put myself first sometimes when I feel I need it. So giving that power back to yourself by creating awareness, there's that word again, awareness, will give you the strength to live your life on purpose, to create your get out of your head moment on purpose. So I would love for you to imagine for a moment that you're able to see past all of the things, everything that draws your attention away from that one thing that you need to live your life the way you want it. Face it. Let's face it. Life gets harder to navigate with new challenges that are presented to us daily. Whether you believe we all need to be vaccinated or not, or should we all be able to get rid of the mask, or the smallest decisions such as when to do the laundry or going on to another Zoom meeting that will benefit me. Having the written permission slip is key. It helps us stay clear and aware of what we truly want. Writing the permission slip before it happens helps us navigate through the chaos. It takes away the guesswork. So let's just review quickly on the takeaways from step number 3. Write yourself a permission slip. 2, be okay with the permission slip you have given yourself. Be authentic around it so you could be present. Remember that permission slips can be for any size decision. The more you get in the habit, the more things will be great. So during these first 25 minutes or so, we've gone through the 3 steps in creating a get out of your head moment on purpose. There was a lot to cover, so I just want to go back and review the steps and give a little more deep insight on them. So how to continue to live your life on purpose. And as the quote says, the nugget here is live your life with purpose and not driven by circumstance. Step 1 was how to imagine a little bit of pressure being released. That's the pause phase. That's where we need to pause and imagine, okay? So if there's 3 words to remember, it's pause, discover, and design. Those 3 words help us create that get out of our head moment. So step 2 is how to identify the feelings you want to have. That's discover. Let's discover that. Step 3 is write your permission slip. Now you're designing. So if there's 3 words to remember from this webinar, is to pause, discover, and design. These steps that myself and my clients and members of the Powerful Purpose community truly live by. Having this process in place is very important to sustain a life of purpose. I know this sounds large, and purpose can be daunting, can be a daunting thought. But breaking things down in bite-sized pieces is a way to stay on track. The second way that I want to share with you today is having a community of engagers, people that could help you be accountable, that are looking to live their life by design also. To find the space to say, it's okay, no matter where you are. Now, you could have in a community, or you could create a dream team around you. Either way, it really helps to be around like-minded people. Recently, I was reading that failure is an option, right? It's an option to fail, but consistency for results is not an option. In order to get results, we need to be consistent. We need to be able to show up every day to align with what our permission slip. Consistency is hard by ourselves because there's so much noise, right? And so much chaos around us that pulls us in different directions, especially now. It's interesting. I was also reading that studies have shown that 65% of people who have support improve their chances of achieving their goals. 65%. So that's one person, that's 2 people, that's a whole community. But your chances of continuing to write your permission slip will be larger when you surround yourself with other people that want to do the same thing or want to support you. So having said that, this Powerful Purpose community is that support. We are a personal development community offering you an eye-opening experience, resulting in not just getting to where you think you should be, but where you actually need to be. So you can experience extreme peace in meaningful life outcomes due to your powerful and purposeful mind shift. It's a place to learn how to take back your time to create that space. Now, this community is designed for the woman that is on the go. It's for the woman that wants to be ready to move ahead. They're ready for that. A woman that is looking for, a safe space to be able to share the good, the bad, and the ugly without feeling judged. How amazing is that? We have found that the casualty of nonstop living, it really leaves us with unstructured time for reflection. That came up in a survey that I had did when I was designing this community. You want it so you could fit it in where you can, and by that, it takes a back seat sometimes. Sometimes when we have unstructured moments of just hamster wheel living, we lose what we might need to move us forward. So, are you, or do you know a woman that's looking for permission to create a space in her calendar to break the cycle of the hamster wheel of life and to hit her full potential. Does that sound like something that you would thrive to have, to really transform your life? If so, then the Powerful Purpose Community is that place. It's a place of transformation, which helps you find the awareness of what you're feeling physically and mentally, so you can choose your next steps. This proven process of the Powerful Purpose Community, as I mentioned, has those three words: to pause, to permit yourself to find the awareness, to discover, explore your options of creating more quality time, and to design, to build the skills and cultivate new relationships to support you in this discovery. It really is a welcoming space, and I'm so proud of it. And it has so many different resources, tools. It has support to take back your time in your life, as group coaching, and it has to a space to learn how to fill it with what you need. No matter what you feel you need now, it's there for you. So I'm offering to anybody that's on the call a 30-minute free coaching session to talk about their roadmap, and talk about the community or anything else they might think they need moving forward to get them to writing their own permission slip and living with a get out of your head moment. So feel free to jump on my calendar, and I'm going to put the calendar link in the chat box, and you jump on my calendar and we'll have a 30-minute coaching session, and that could open up and we could help you write your permission slip to live this moment, this get out of your head moment. So this community has been in the building phase for over 5 months. And before that, it started off as a private Facebook group for about a year and a half. So it's really a 2-year passion project of mine. But it's been really growing organically in membership and content. And now it's really my journey to help hundreds, thousands of women feel connected to their purpose. So thank you for listening to me about the community and all the wonderful things that it has to offer. I just want to give a little bit of a review on the takeaways. So if you've been sitting here and listening, thank you for that. If you want to write down these takeaways for yourself, and remember, you didn't wake up today to just be so. So your takeaway from step 1 is awareness breeds clarity. Just because you find yourself under pressure doesn't mean it can't change. Not everyone handles it the same way. So that's the step 1 of the takeaway. Step 2 takeaway: be kind to yourself. Find positive triggers to keep you or bring you back on track to where you want to be, and continuously check in with yourself for that awareness. Takeaway number 3: literally write yourself a permission slip. Be okay with the permission slip you have given yourself. And permission slips can be for any size decision that you want. So if we look at that nugget again, that's on the screen, you didn't wake up today to be so. I want you to really reach for the stars. It's your one life. Create it the way you want it to be. Make it truly a dynamite day and weekend on purpose. And I have a challenge for you before we go. What is the one thing Just one thing you're going to do from each step to get you started today. Remember, when we have a goal without a plan, it's just a wish. What are you wishing for today to turn it into a goal? And how does your permission slip read? So I truly appreciate all of you for listening in. And I want to leave you with one quick story. I have a client that is very sick. She was very sick. She's a business owner. And I work closely with her and her business partner for about 1.5 years now. We went from creating a plan to move out of their full-time jobs. So they were corporate jumpers, and I was helping them do that, to developing this business that they created in the middle of COVID and designing this lifestyle that they truly wanted. But during this transition time, it has been so extremely difficult. But because we've created these pockets of precious moments and focus on the right tasks that we were navigating through, and giving themselves permission to understand that this other business partner became sick. And it really is been unbelievable journey with them. But these permission slips have allowed one of the partners deal with this news that we got a couple weeks ago, that the other business partner ended up passing away. So through that process of development, these 3 steps were so beneficial in helping the one business partner work through this tragedy, but also had helped the business partner that was dealing with the cancer that ultimately took her life. So really, the moral of the story is we never know when things can change. One moment we can be living on the hamster wheel of life, and the next moment, bam, we're faced with something even bigger. The point of this webinar was to help you pause, discover, and design the moments you want to have. It's truly been an absolute pleasure and honor that you joined me today. I'm here for you. Start with your impossible and make it possible. Reach out if you want to chat, and don't forget, spread the word about this webinar in the Powerful Purpose community. We want to help hundreds and thousands of women to feel grounded. Make it a dynamite day with purpose. Create magic for yourself and the people around you. Thank you for joining me, and take care.